Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are we today? I really hope we're doing what we can to stay strong throughout these tough times. But of course, we are back again with another freaking video. And today we're going to be tackling Mr. Alan freaking Roberts on his views when it comes to the fat acceptance community. But of course, before we get into that, let's begin by giving a big massive shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel so far, including every single person that is a subscriber as we continue to freaking grow. But with that being said though, Mr. Alan Roberts came out with a very interesting post, which we are going to tackle in a second. But one thing that I want to say is that sometimes my startups, I generally have a starter, right? It gets triggered by some words. And when I read this caption, some of the words made me go, so if that happens, I do apologize, but please do bear with me. And now with that being said, let me head over to the article. I'll drink something before I actually get there. Anyway, he starts off by saying, if you are a member of the fat acceptance community, it is time for you to accept that you played a role in the deaths of many people. Our society's indulgence of the irrational thought that being obese is not an avoidable, normally self-inflicted illness that is detrimental to our society is truly evil. We have allowed our society to become sickly by decade after decade, collectively either ignoring how we were become more and more obese as we did in the start of our increasing fatness, or as we as a society have been lately actually promoting this has been perfectly normal, and sometimes even have tried to hilariously I can't say the word now, state that being obese can also be fit. This must stop. This is weakening of society through fattening. It is affecting all of society at this point. There can be no more acceptance for being obese. It is killing society. And the reason why he said this, amongst other things he has said in the past, is because of a very interesting article. Now, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm going to read just a portion of it, so you can get basically a gist of idea of where this emotion is coming from, where he's obviously speaking from. Now, this article starts off by saying, stark link between obesity and COVID deaths revealed. 9 out of 10 deaths from coronavirus have occurred in countries with high obesity levels, according to World Health Organization backed research that sets out the stark correlation between excessive weight and lives lost to the disease. The study from the World Obesity Foundation, WOF, which represents scientists, medical professionals, and researchers from more than 50 regional and national obesity associations, showed mortality rates were 10 times higher, where at least 50% of the population was overweight. It offers fresh insight into why people in some countries die at far greater rates after catching the virus than in others. Okay, to be fair, let me read the rest of it. To be fair, it's so important. Age has been seen as the biggest predictor of severe outcomes, which has led to priority being given to elder people in most countries' COVID-19 vaccine rollouts. But the World of Obesity Federation said it report shows for the first time that overweight populations come a close second. Wow. It is now calling for this group to be prioritized for, I can't say the word. I'm letting me know, bother. Immunization. There you go. I said it. So therefore, listen, ladies and gentlemen, where do we go from here? Because at the end of the day, this statement itself, which was published in London, actually, it was published in London on March the 3rd, 2021. And it's a very, very interesting statement, very interesting one. Article, sorry. And based on what Mr. Alan Roberts has said there, I can understand where he's coming from. And do I agree? Absolutely. Why wouldn't I agree? Because if there is numbers showing that people are dying, throughout this whole COVID situation, and a lot of them are related to obesity, then clearly there's a massive problem. And you know what? One thing that Mr. Alan Roberts did say that, let me scroll up. He did say that it is time for you to accept that you have played a role in the deaths of many people. Now, of course, this is him relating to people who are part of the fat acceptance. To be honest with you, why fat acceptance is even a thing, I have no idea. Where the origins came from, I have no idea. To be honest with you, I've never looked into it. The only thing that I've ever cared about is, okay, I understand some people want to be big. That's fine. But at the same time, the thing that I care about the most is at least do what you can to protect your health. But at the same time, though, this is where I can become slightly contradictory. Even though you can be a plus size person and still have a healthy lifestyle, does that mean that your body is still in a good shape, in a good form? Not necessarily. Does that mean that your body is absolutely healthy inside? Not necessarily, because when you carry a certain amount of weight on your body is being damaged every day. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, every single day that goes by, we get older. And every single day that we get older, predominantly our immune system starts to slow down, our metabolism starts to do its own thing. Predominantly, but not like increasingly fast. Sometimes it gets better. I mean, listen, let's just say once you get over the age of 25 onwards, because really and truly, 30 onwards, because let's be honest, in your first 30 years of your life, you are still growing, you are still improving yourself, you're still getting better. Now, obviously, after the first 30 years of your life, after what you do after that, plays a big part of how long you're going to live for. It plays a big part of how often you're going to be ill, and it's going to play a big part on what diagnosis you might end up having, as time goes by. But then, of course, there are people who are less fortunate where, you know what, let me remove that, not less fortunate, but then there are people who definitely abuse their weight, even when they're younger, and by the time they get to 15, 16, 18, they're in a position where they may even be hospitalized, bedbound. And the same thing can happen to people in their 20s. But what's the point of what I'm trying to say here? Listen, let me try and round this up for you, ladies and gentlemen, in a different way. What I'm trying to say here is that, yes, it is okay to be curvy. Yes, it is okay to be slightly above your required weight, depending on your height. But at the same time, is it okay to abuse that? No. Now, obviously, at the same time, I know there's a lot of people out there who are going to have this stigma or this question of, but what if I've got medical conditions? What if I've been diagnosed with X, Y, Z? Well, here's the thing that you then have to ask yourself. Whatever you've been diagnosed with, was you diagnosed with this thing after you became overweight? After you damaged your body? Well, either way, that is called self-inflicted, like he says. That's a self-inflicted illness. But at the same time, just because you've now self-inflicted yourself with a diagnosis, is that a reason to tell yourself to quit? Is that a reason to tell yourself that it's okay to carry on eating whenever you like, as many times as you like? And is that a reason for you to continue stacking on that weight? Is it a reason for you to no longer go outside and maybe try and get some exercise? Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, there are people in the world who are born with certain diagnoses, who are born in a life where they may have one arm, they may have one leg, they may have no arms, they may have no legs, they may be completely paralyzed. And then there's some people that are born with certain diagnoses that, make it very hard for them to stay in shape, where their weight can be up really quickly. Sometimes the weight can be down really quickly. But the question is, though, is what makes the human being is the most important thing. And when I say what makes the human being, what I'm trying to say to you is that there are people who, since my journey on this channel, have reached out to me or I even speak to now daily on a casual basis, where they will tell me about why they're so frustrated about people like Amberlynn Reid and Foodie Booty and Stella Williams, and Alexandra as they go on. It's because, here's the thing, Foodie Booty, Stella Williams, Amberlynn Reid, these are girls, women who grew up with no diagnosis. And they have self-inflicted their weight on themselves. Now, obviously, some of them have now got diagnosis, or at least claim to, but they should have a diagnosis. We know Amberlynn Reid definitely has diagnosis in XYZ. Chantel, the rest of them, Life of Jen, we know these. But these are not things that they were born with. Now, when I speak to someone who was born with some of the things that these girls have or claim to have, the problem is that the thing that I love the most when I hear from people is that even though I have whatever is going on with me, I still try my best. And when I say try, let's not get the word try confused with giving up. When I say try, they try to keep pushing the boundaries. They try to keep going to make sure that they never get to a stage where they are completely overweight, where they are at least at a reasonable size, or at least be at the best size they can be possible based on whatever diagnosis that they have. Now, remember, when I say trying, there's a difference between trying to give up and trying to succeed, trying to maintain. And a lot of people that do reach out to me, they are trying to succeed, trying to maintain, and that is fantastic. But then there are people online who are not trying to anything. They're trying to basically fail. Because at the end of the day, the moment you say that, I tried, and then you didn't, and then that was it, then clearly you had no intentions anyway of actually following through with the journey that you was meant to be doing to help you within your health. So all I'm trying to say is that there are people out there who, by choice, want to make excuses of why they are overweight, why they are unhealthy, why they are XYZ. And that is a damn shame and a massive slap in the face to any single person that is actually born with certain diagnoses or missing parts to their body, or even people who they're born with all parts of their body, but then later on in life, if they unfortunately they may end up in a car crash. Now, obviously, they're then given whether it's an extra, whether it's a leg or an arm, for extra support. The thing that I love about those people is that at least they don't allow the fact that that's happened to them to give them a reason to just sit around and put on weight. They still get up, they recover, and they do what they can. They do what they can, which is fantastic. But of course, we got the people who just want to self-inflict and want to show disrespect. But let's not forget the people who are born with certain diagnoses, XYZ, who then do actually use those diagnoses as an excuse of why they cannot try or why they have tried in the past. But when we use the word trying, there's no such thing in trying that says give up. There's not just thing that says try and then just, that's it. I tried, that's it. No. When you try and try. But the main thing is when you try one thing, if it doesn't work, you try another thing. If it doesn't work, you try another thing. And you keep trying until you get to where you need to get to. So at the end of the day, when it comes to this fat acceptance post by Mr. Alan Roberts, I 100% back him. Now, obviously, do I back the way he's gone about it? You know what? Why not? And I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, for me, I do believe in tough love. But there's a fine line between tough love and bashing people. But then there's also a fine line with telling people something in a nice way and then in a balanced way. And this is the thing, depending on who you're speaking to, some people just don't like tough love. And some people just take advantage of people who are being kind about what they're trying to tell them. And that is a problem in life. That's why sometimes we don't know how we should be addressing certain things because too many people want to be sensitive. But the matter of the fact is though, you can be as sensitive as you want to be to what anyone says when it comes to the fat acceptance or anything else in your life. But the matter of the fact is, the more sensitive you are, the more that tells me, the more that you're clearly telling me that you are unwilling to do better for yourself. Because at the end of the day, this is never about myself or the people that make the videos. This is about those people in those lives who are choosing to either take the information on board and do better or choosing to take it as hate to then do worse. At the end of the day, the only hate you're doing is a hate to your body and not anything else. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, you give me your opinion and obviously what Mr. Alan Roberts had to say in terms of the fat acceptance. And also give me your opinion, obviously, what I had to say myself in particular as well. And one thing that I want to say is that it's a shame that a conversation like this is seen as taboo. In fact, it's a shame that a lot of conversations that are so important to the world are seen as taboo. But at the end of the day, if a lot of things that are serious in life, that matter in life, are seen as taboo, then what the hell are we doing right now? We should be able to have hard-hitting conversations regardless of anything, regardless of how sensitive we're going to be. But the way I see it, when you're sensitive about something, when you're sensitive about certain things in life, sometimes it clearly means that you know there's a problem. But you just don't want to put in the work to fix whatever needs to be fixed in whatever that situation is in your life. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, you give me your opinion on everything that was said here. And I have recently just done a vlog, okay, on me doing a 3-day fast for the very first time on my other channel called Life with Madzie. I will be leaving the link of that down below and also across the screen. So please do go check that out, because obviously at the same time, that is something that I did not necessarily for weight loss purposes, but for the health side of things, okay, and also to restart my body for my newer journey as I continue to, or as the gym's open in about a month or so. But nonetheless, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you lovelies in the comment section. Peace.